482. It seems like there are only 3 digits in the barcode, but in reality, it's much more interesting. Because when we buy products made in Ukraine, everyone benefits. 482, made in Ukraine.
Today we will thoroughly find out exactly how these pants are meticulously made.
The entire Estonian parliament wears our pants.
How do you work with Europe? What are our advantages?
Business in Europe is done a bit differently than in Ukraine.
Is it possible
to build a factory in Ukraine without a corruption component?
And in general, why should we buy Ukrainian products?
The sewing industry is a great driving force for the economy.
After all, when we buy our own products, almost 40% of the cost returns to the state and provides more opportunities to support our cities. By the way, did you know that pants used to be not a single piece of clothing, but 2 separate legs that were attached to a belt with cords? That's why we say a pair of pants, even though in reality, it's just 1 pair of pants. That's how it is. Meet the sewing enterprise Lesya, named in honor of Lesya Ukrainka. The company is located in Zviahel, the hometown of our legend. They have their own brand, La Grande, but their main client is the German trademark Brax. 800,000 pairs of trousers per year.
You know, before COVID, we had a great record year when we produced almost 1 million pairs of trousers in a year. Back then, we were making over 4,000 pairs of trousers every day. Those were really good times when we were growing rapidly and making ambitious plans.
Actually, we all know how to sew a pair of pants. But how do you sew 4,000 pairs a day? Let's figure it out. Cutting section.
Basically, the fabric comes here from the warehouse. This is the sophisticated machine that carefully lays out the fabric. After the precise laying process is completed, the fabric is then automatically and efficiently cut.
There's a whole conveyor belt here. For some reason, I thought it would be like how grandmas used to do it. They'd lay out the paper pattern, cut it out with scissors, something like that. Oh, like this. Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Well, you see, we have an order with a checkered pattern. It's a small one, so it's better to cut it by hand.
So that the checkered pattern is cut correctly, so the design stays intact. Yes, exactly.
That's right.
Do you wear your own products? Of course. You're wearing these pants right now. No.
Not because they cost me little, no. Probably because they're very high quality. I'm just in love with this model, with the patterns, with the fabric we produce. And the fabric is unique. Our partners are the company Lena Vibor, the Brax brand. This is a company that has specialized in making pants for over 130 years. Before the COVID period, their sales volume reached over 6 million pairs of pants per year. I have a certain agreement with them regarding the possibility of using their patterns for the domestic market with minor modifications. Design-wise, they were absolutely not similar to their product, but they cannot match it. Their fit, their measurement data, that's not an issue. As for the materials, they also did not give their suppliers of exclusive fabrics for them the right to sell me any leftovers.
So are you producing under their brand?
Of course, yes.
But there is also our own brand, which is made from the same fabric, using the same patterns, but probably costs less.
Of course. Well, look, we have high-quality standards. And regardless of which client we are producing for, whether it's for the domestic market or a European client, we cannot allow ourselves to work with lower quality. This is already ingrained in our mentality here, in our company, in our corporate culture. Quality is the main thing we must focus on.
But what's the point of this machine if it can be done by hand?
Quality comes first, the quality of the stitching. Unfortunately, a person cannot sew a product as precisely and as well as a machine can. The operator selects the exact program needed and the machine starts sewing.
And with the yellow, it shows what is currently being cut, and with green, what has already been cut, and gray is what will be cut next. That's really cool.
After the cutting process, it starts sorting the cut pieces because there are some leftover scraps. We place the cut pieces onto these trays.
The same patterns, the same fabric. So in fact, these are the items that buyers go there for, bring back here and sell for twice the price?
Yes.
I thought there would be a boom.
Well, look,
Do Ukrainians not trust Ukrainian-made products? Or what's the problem?
it's the market segment. We work in the upper middle segment. These are people whose income level is above average. And many of them want not only quality, but also a label. I see. That's important for many people. We've learned how to sew quality products. We've achieved a high level of productivity. But when it comes to sales, I don't devote enough attention to selling them within Ukraine. We have several of our own stores. Let's say we also have partner stores where private entrepreneurs sell our products. We have one store near the factory, right at the factory. From time to time, our company is visited by members of parliament and officials. We are very pleased to present our products to them. And today a large part of our parliament wears our trousers, our pants.
Aha.
Those who understand quality and are happy to represent Ukrainian products know very well what they are wearing and are satisfied with it. I'll say more. The entire Estonian parliament also wears our pants.
By the way, did you know that bryuki and shtani seem to be the same thing, but actually they're not? Shtani is a much broader concept. After all, shtani includes classic trousers, casual pants, chinos, flares, slacks, joggers, cargo pants, jeans, and even sharavari, traditional loose pants. All of these are types of shtani. Even shorts are just short shtani. How about that?
After cutting, we proceed to assemble the cut pieces. We group the cut pieces into bundles. Based on these bundles, we print a kind of barcode.
It's a lot like playing solitaire.
Probably. Yes, you have to lay everything out and not get confused. Lay it all out and...
Not get confused.
This barcode contains information about the order number, the model, and the bundle number, and specifically which part it is that needs to be worked on. And also, interestingly, for our seamstresses, this barcode also contains information about the amount of time required to complete each particular operation.
I'm a mathematician by education myself. I love numbers. I like to see the real picture behind the numbers. If you want it to be as objective as possible, you need to collect data as quickly and as often as possible, and as objectively as possible. Every single unit of our product that we manufacture has its own unique barcode. The system allows us to track labor productivity, the volume of products completed by an individual, a section, a team, or a group. All of this makes it possible to monitor the progress of orders through the section in real time. And of course, we then linked all of this to quality. An order for 5,000 pairs of trousers is being worked on by 120 seamstresses. Then, after a few days, the controllers at the finishing section found defects on several items. So which of these 10 people was responsible for this defect? Because the same button on those 5,000 trousers was sewn on by 10 different people. This system allows us to identify exactly which worker, which seamstress, sewed that button onto those specific trousers. So she must fix it and sew it in the place where it should be.
Oh, sorry girls for disturbing you.
You see, here, for example, are the raw parts as they arrive at the workshop. Order number, color, batch number, and the pack number, and the quantity of pieces that are here. Each pack contains this barcode. This barcode, yes, will be taken by the seamstress at the sewing station and attached to her worksheet. At the end of the shift, all these sheets are submitted to accounting. And at the end of the shift, accounting automatically scans them. Each worker during their working hours in 8 hours must collect 480 minutes. Good workers can collect more.
480 minutes of actual work? Actual work. Regardless of the type, it's actual work. Do you understand?
How many minutes did you collect during working hours in 8 hours?
Interesting.
This is the basis for calculating wages, and accordingly, bonuses are added.
Effective time is when the needle is in the fabric and everything else is considered loss. The pants, the ones I'm wearing, these are pocket pants, a basic model. They are made at the company in the sewing section in about 23 minutes. We conducted a small experiment. We filmed all the processes and counted only the actual effective time when the needle is directly in the fabric, sewing. When it's sewing, yes. How much effective time do you think is needed to make a pair of pants like these?
Well, about half as much.
It takes almost 8 minutes to make these pants.
That's different. That's preparation. Folding.
2/3 of the time goes to things like that. That's why the task of an effective manager is to optimize all these tactics. The Japanese call muda the losses in a company. And if you minimize them, the company will be as efficient as possible if you eliminate this muda.
Well, here is our finishing section already. This is exactly where the process of giving life to the products begins.
This works like a conveyor, right? Absolutely. So the seats arrive from the prep area. The first seamstress does the joining the operation and passes it on. Exactly so.
Passes it to the next one and then to the next one. What's very important here is that in principle, all of them produce the same number of items so that we don't have a buildup on the line.
And also, of course, you can see that they're all hurrying a little. They're hurrying because they
Know that they absolutely have to complete their full 480 minutes, which is a significant amount of time throughout the entire workday.
I saw that you have a sewing school at your production facility. Is it really the case that we don't have enough professional seamstresses and they still need further training?
Not enough. Unfortunately, the profession of seamstress isn't very popular, and not many young people want or dream of working as seamstresses. Today, there are such wonderful professions as bloggers and others. Some people try to realize themselves in those fields. The profession of a seamstress is quite difficult for me. And unfortunately, it still isn't as prestigious as we would like it to be. We don't teach children right after school. We teach people of a more mature age who have tried to find themselves in other fields, in other directions, but for one reason or another, they didn't succeed. Then they remember that maybe they learned something in school, or there was some sewing work at a vocational school somewhere. Let's get to work. Or maybe someone just likes to sew at home. And in general, it's simply a stable company with a weekly systematic salary payment, official employment, and a full social benefits package. So why not come and work here? That's why we created what we call a training center, a classroom. We've developed a rather interesting and unique methodology that over the course of 3 weeks allows potential seamstresses to learn the basics. We are a socially responsible company. You know, we've been working with the Germans since 2005. We've become so immersed in their philosophy that we can't even imagine working any other way. For us, social standards are extremely important. We are proud that we pay taxes because that's the salaries of teachers, doctors, and really the entire public sector, not to mention other things that are funded. Every year, we receive recognition for this as the best taxpayer. When we received it for the first time, my German partner said that we were probably the biggest suckers. I asked why. I said, well, there are companies with much higher turnover and income, but they pay less in taxes.
The entire line is divided into teams. Each team has its own leader. Actually, the Smile team sewed 342 pieces at the start of the shift.
And what's the purpose of this system with teams and leaders? Is it motivating?
The team knows that they have to collect their minutes. 1 or 2 people are absent. For example, they got sick. This motivates other employees to work and also to switch to that operation
Where
my colleague is absent and fulfill my team's plan and get the bonus, my team bonus.
I see you have bonuses everywhere.
Yes,
Worked overtime for a bonus.
we love bonuses because they really motivate and encourage people.
When we came in here, it seemed to me that the girls were all doing almost the same thing. But after walking around, I see that here is one procedure and over there is a completely different machine. Exactly. It's very interesting how it happens. Almost magical. It's true what they say, you could watch people work forever.
We were among the first to start producing products in the casual segment. Until 2005, there was no mass production of casual products. Because the washing technology itself didn't exist yet, during Soviet times in the Soviet Union, we all wore classic clothing. Classic suits, classic shirts. The whole world was producing products in the casual format while Ukraine continued to make classic clothing.
I want to understand, what is the difference between casual and classic? And what does washing have to do with it?
A classic suit, the creases, it's the fabric, the materials are different. It's wool, polyester, in other words, a different material that's used for making classic clothing. cotton, which we've all gotten so used to now and which we like for its pleasant tactile feel and presentable appearance, needs to go through a stage of thermal processing, what's called washing or boiling. Do you remember when jeans used to be boiled? That technology didn't exist. A lot of different things can be achieved through this kind of washing. And in Ukraine, there was no washing technology. In other words, no one was doing this because, to be honest, it's quite a complex technological process and requires rather high investment specifically in this technology. The agreement with my current German partner at that time was as follows, that I would help them build a factory in Ukraine without any corruption involved, and in return they would give me the technology for producing trousers. That was our agreement. For them, there was a concern. They were afraid of Ukraine and they wouldn't invest money unless the land was their property. But the sale of land to foreigners in Ukraine was and remains prohibited except by special permission from the Cabinet of Ministers. I managed to get through 4 ministries and a bunch of committees. I obtained all the necessary signatures, and as a result, the Deputy Prime Minister gave permission for the sale of land to foreign investors in the city of Novograd-Volynsky for a certain period of time. Now it's the city of Vyahil, but back then it was Novograd-Volynsky. And at the same time, my partners and I didn't take a single envelope. We didn't spend a single kopeck on any, let's say, non-targeted expenses. I managed to get all the necessary signatures, and my partners believed that it was possible to build a business in Ukraine without a corruption component.
20 years have passed. Is it possible?
Of course. My personal principle and the principle of my company is zero tolerance for corruption. And already in 2005 we started production. We built a new factory, and at that time about 6 million euros were invested.
Right now we are at the wet heat treatment section.
Wet heat treatment is a method.
After washing our pants, come here. Here we attach buttons, eyelets, and cut off the threads.
We finalize, right?
We finalize the pants and accordingly check the quality. And in terms of quality control, we created our own product that helps us and makes the work of our quality controllers easier.
May I ask an immodest question? Of course. Why did you need it? Let me explain. The war begins. You are a successful entrepreneur who, in principle, has the opportunity, working with foreign clients, to leave and starting over there, having orders. It's not difficult. I know it's a silly question, but I want to hear the answer.
You know, I never asked myself that question. I never had that question in my mind, not even for a single day. I was living in Zhytomyr, just a few kilometers from our military airfield, Ozerne. Of course, at 4 in the morning, I woke up to loud explosions and the realization that it had all started. The first thing to do was to get to the company. My main task was to calm my employees. My second thought was that I needed to fulfill all the commitments we had made to our European partners. And when the opportunity arose to take an active part in the defense of the country by producing various types of military equipment, it was a great moral satisfaction for the entire team. We worked 7 days a week without any days off for 10 hours a day. Load-bearing vests, bandages, first aid kits, drop pouches. We sewed a lot of different things, mostly outfitting the territorial defense units.
I know that at that time there was a huge shortage of this khaki fabric. Did you have it?
No, we never made military gear. We didn't have anything suitable for the military. In the first days we had high-quality fabric, Italian fabric for trousers, and we used it to sew load-bearing vests. And even here, the local guys started a meme that the load-bearing vests were from Armani.
In your opinion, what is Ukraine's strength?
I would probably look for it in the people. I believe that our main strength, our greatest asset, is our people. Hardworking, intelligent, highly tolerant, and kind-hearted. This is Ukraine's main competitive advantage on the global market.
People are our greatest value, our greatest competitive advantage. Yes,